clematis that we've been introducing recently. And let me start with this one, which is called Josephine. Josephine has a very interesting story, and many plants do have stories behind them, and I think it's rather fun to know about the background about some plants. So I'm going to take a bit of your time and share with you a story about this Clematis Josephine. As you can see, it's a very exotic double flower. It always has these rather charming double flowers. And what happened was there was a lady called Josephine Hill, and she was living in London, and she went out one day down towards Twickenham, which is south of London. All the rugby players will know where Twickenham is, I think. And she went to a fruit and veg stall, and she saw this little plant. It was only about 30 centimeters in height, in a little 8-centimeter pot, no label on it. It looked rather sickly and rather miserable, and she took pity on it. I'm sure she probably paid less than $2 for it, I would guess. Anyway, the plant came into flower, and she sent me a photograph of it and asked, what is it? She said, I think this is rather exciting. And I really hadn't a clue what it was, and we lost contact for a while. And then she made contact again and said, Raymond, you really need to come and see this clematis. It's so different and so exotic. She said, it's so tough. She said, well, last spring, her dog, or at least the bitch, had a litter of puppies, and she planted the clematis in a half barrel, and the puppies loved to snooze on top of the clematis in the half barrel. So they chewed it every time it got to a few centimeters in height. Anyway, next spring the puppies went off to their new homes. And she said, I planted this huge hanging basket above it, she said. And she said, I thought if the clematis grew up and we could trail it up into the hanging basket, it would look so effective. Anyway, apparently there was this horrendous gale. The hanging basket came down on the clematis. And I think this was her way of telling me how tough the plant was. So eventually I went to southern part of England, in the county of Hampshire, and took some cuttings. And then I took it back to Guernsey and we trialled it, and we launched it at the 1998 Chelsea Flower Show. Well, at one time we were growing more than 200,000 plants of this Clematis Josephine every year. So all of our plants get protected by plant patents or plant breeders' rights in other parts of the world. So every 6 months I send Josephine a check for her royalties. Every 6 months a big postcard comes back, usually with a cruise liner on it, saying, dear Raymond, thank you for the check. Keep selling the clematis. That's absolutely true. So if you want to add to Josephine's royalties, you have to buy a Josephine. But it is an exceptional plant, and it really does well. So that's Josephine, which is one of the earlier doubles that we introduced.
How long does it flower
for? Oh yes,
for?
that's a good idea if I told you that. Yeah, so it flowers, we found that it flowers very, very well indeed, even if it's quite hot. It will flower almost from May till September. I know it's been trialled down in southern Oregon, really in the heat there. So basically it's May till September flowering.
And the height?
And the height is about 3 meters. Yeah, the colour is very much, it's a very difficult colour. It's really a pinky mauve, and as the flowers come out in the early spring, they can be the colour can be a bit muddy, but it really is quite dramatic. Okay. And then this one, this plant is called Arctic Queen. Arctic Queen is a lovely fully double clematis, which will produce sort of more semi-double flowers as you get to fall. This one too flowers almost from May till September, growing up to just under 3 meters in height, about 2.5 meters. Ideal plant for growing again through other wall train shrubs, or it can be grown in a container, and I'll talk about container growing in a few moments. So Arctic Queen again is a superb plant, and a few years ago I said to Daniel Henriquez, our propagation manager, Daniel, we really must remember about Arctic Queen, where we got it from, because I thought it was a chance seedling. And he said, Raymond, don't you remember? He said, when I showed it to you the first time, you said, oh, that's a load of rubbish, get rid of it. Anyway, thank goodness my staff don't listen to what I tell them to do. So Daniel took it in his prop house and propagated it secretly, and then brought me a flower, and I said, wow, that's fantastic, where did you get that from? So Arctic Queen is really super, and of the double clematis, certainly the best one that there is at the moment. So that's Arctic Queen.
September?
Okay, the question here was about clematis. Well, let me deal with that a little later, okay? Then this one, this is called Francisca Maria, named after my youngest daughter, which is a fully double blue, quite a deepish blue. That too will flower from about late May through the summer, and again getting to about 3 meters in height. So very useful one, again through growing through other wall train shrubs or growing in a container. Diamantina, I'll bring you up to date. Diamantina was a plant that we introduced at Chelsea Flower Show last year. It always has the very fully double, deep bluish coloured flowers, growing to only about 2 meters in height, so a little bit more compact in its habit, but again flowering for a good long time, really from end of May right through till September. Will rest again, like all of the clematis, if it's very, very hot in the summer. But with our new clematis, this plant is already producing bud, it's already producing new growth, which of course will produce flowers for you later in the year. And then I have to mention this one to you, because this is Clematis Empress, and if you haven't bought a Vancouver Sun newspaper today, then you should. There was quite a very flattering article about what we do, but this was featured on the front cover. So Empress is good if you like exotic spiky type flowers. It's something quite different and quite fun. It is a child actually of our Josephine that I've been talking about. Okay, so
The clematis you mentioned just before, the double.
the double one is Diamantina.
Yeah.
Diamantina, sorry. Okay, so what I'd like to do